Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Badgers Borough. I want to start this video off by saying I hope everyone had a nice, happy Martin Luther King Day. You know, he made tremendous sacrifices to promote social justice and racial equality, so I think it's very important that we have this holiday for him. Just wanted to say, hope everyone had a happy holiday before we get into this video. In this video, we're going to be recapping the Divisional Round of the 2021 NFL Playoffs. Once again, we were blessed with 4 incredibly good games. All 8 teams had a chance heading into the fourth quarter, and we just had another all-around great week of football. If you guys go on to enjoy the video, please consider subscribing. It does mean a lot. And also leave a like on the video so that I know that you guys liked it. Also leave a comment down below your thoughts on this week's games and the games, for the rest of the playoffs. Hope you guys enjoy. It is officially Monday, which means it is time for the world-renowned weekly recap. We had 4 great games this weekend. We're just going to dive straight in, starting with Rams at Packers. Rams at Packers. This was a game that we knew was going to be very tough for the Rams to win. And it was even more difficult when Aaron Donald was essentially neutralized by Elgton Jenkins. Elgton Jenkins was the MVP of this game, hands down. He kept Donald at bay pretty much the entire game. Donald rushes from the interior. Jenkins was able to pick him up pretty much the entire time and give Rodgers, an incredible amount of time in the pocket. That really set the pace for the Packers. They were able to pretty much roll behind that offensive line. Once Donald's out of the equation, all you got to do is worry about Ramsey. And when you have a run game as good as the Packers, you can neutralize Ramsey as well. Aaron Jones was incredible on the ground this game. He racked up yards after yards after yards and was really able to open up the Packers' play-action pass game, which has been so good for them this year. If Jones gets going, they can do a bunch of their gimmicks. Rodgers has got the bootleg, the sprint out, just classic play-action pass. Fake end-arounds, all this extra stuff that Matt LaFleur has drawn up. It's not possible without the run game. And that's why Aaron Jones is so valuable to the Packers team. Rodgers was good, not great this game. Obviously he managed the game. They dominated time of possession, which is key again. We saw it last week with the Saints. Time of possession is key, limiting turnovers. That's really all you got to do when you have an offense as good as the Packers and a defense that can shut down nine-fingered Jared Goff. Obviously, one of the main plays in this game was the touchdown to Davante Adams, where he motions left, start of the play, comes back around. Ramsey isn't able to get there in time. He has a little tantrum in the end zone. That's just great play design by the Packers, really. You got a guy moving too much pre-snap. He's not going to be able to get there in time, especially not knowing the play, the hard count, the snap count, all of it. He didn't know, and Adams was able to make him pay. I feel like I'm rushing through this, but there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. The Rams' offense was bad. Goff really couldn't get anything going. Obviously he's playing with 9 fingers. We all know. He broke his thumb, and he really can't throw the ball with it, especially in the cold. I think he had a glove on the entire game. It was tough for the Rams. The Packers were just a better team, really, in every facet of the game, and I think that showed. I think that showed for pretty much the majority of the game. This Packers team is really strong. We'll talk about the Buccaneers later, but this Packers team is tough to stop. I think maybe all year only the Bucs have really stopped them, and even the Rams couldn't with Donald and Ramsey, the 2 best players at their given positions in the NFL. So it's going to be very tough for this Packers team to lose, especially if their defense keeps giving them help like they have been. But you're playing a conference championship Brady, not a thumb surgery Jared Goff next week. So I'm interested to see how the Packers game plan for the Buccaneers. I think it's going to be a great game, but the score doesn't suggest it, but the Packers absolutely steamrolled the Rams this week. Moving on to the Saturday night game, we had the Ravens at the Bills. This was a defensive slugfest for really the entire game. It got a little wishy-washy there in the fourth, but this was a defensive game. neither team performed that well offensively. Blocking was poor from both sides, especially the Ravens. You got to look at Patrick Mercari. His snaps were bad. They weren't protecting Lamar at all. And that really set the tone of the game. Lamar was scrambling so much. And I haven't watched many Ravens games this year, I'll confess. But the percentage of dropbacks that he scrambled on, like not a designed quarterback run, but where just no one was open or he didn't have time, that seemed extremely high. As a guy who, like I said, hasn't watched many Ravens games, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. He scrambled a lot. He clearly wasn't comfortable in that pocket. And I mean, they weren't giving him any help. The Bills' front seven was ridiculously good. I'm not sure who their D coordinator is, so I'm just going to call Sean McDermott. I'm going to call Sean McDermott out. He was a great coach in this game. He was blitzing, sending different schemes, cornerbacks, safeties, all the linebackers off the edge. He mixed it up, and Lamar was uncomfortable. I'd say I would use that as the word to describe this game. Lamar was uncomfortable in the pocket. He wasn't getting the time he needed. Receivers weren't getting open, whatever. He was uncomfortable because the Bills put him in that position. However, the Bills offensively weren't great either. Allen was not stellar, to put it nicely. He overthrew pretty much every deep ball in the entire game. Most specifically in the first quarter, he overthrew Diggs a bunch of times, Brown, Beasley, whoever it was. He overthrew him, and you can't have that in a game of this magnitude. You can't have those mistakes like that. If you complete one of those passes, it's a long touchdown and huge momentum for your team. But, the Ravens defense did what they set out to do. Derek Wolfe, Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams, Matt Judon, all those guys shutting down the run, making Allen win the game. And, he wasn't great. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 3-3 going into halftime, which is not great. You obviously want to see more as a football fan. If you want to watch a defensive game, this was the one for you. But if you're an offensive guy, this wasn't the one. This wasn't it. But other than that, I think that it was a defensive game through and through, and it was because Lamar made the mistake of the game. I believe the Bills already had the lead at this point. I think they just snuck into the end zone. But Lamar, what are you doing, man? What are we doing, Lamar? I don't think the ball was tipped at the line, but it was a duck. It was a terrible throw by Lamar. It was behind Andrews. It didn't even get there. And Teron Johnson picks it off, takes it 101 yards to the house. Playoff record, momentum is all the way swinging to Buffalo now. This game's over. Let's be realistic. This game is over. That's a huge play. It's very difficult to come back from that. A pick, go get him the next drive. Pick six, it's not great. We just gave him 3 points. But we get to go right back on the field. We're good. But a pick six in the end zone after you drive all the way down the field, those ones sting. Those hurt the heart. And I think that really did the Ravens in. You do such a good job driving all the way down the field just to lose it on the goal line. That's a very tough pill to swallow. I believe the next drive, Lamar gets planted in the end zone. He goes out with concussion protocol, and that's really it. Tyler Huntley's not going to bring you back to win that game. There's not many quarterbacks who will, much less a backup who's a Lamar prototype, as in not a down-the-field passer. Ultimately, this game just got away from the Ravens late, and it's really unfortunate because that defense played so well all game. The offense was not good. I mean, we've established that, but the defense was so good. Just for it to come crumbling down at the end, it's tough to see if you're a Ravens fan. But if you're the Bills fan, hey, you're in the conference championship for the first time in God knows how long, before I was born. That's really exciting for these guys. Bills Mafia is going to be jumping through tables and all that stuff for probably the next week. Even if they're eliminated, hey, that's a title game appearance. That's really all you can ask for. But yeah, this was a defensive slugfest. Got away from the Ravens late, but if you're Baltimore, you like what you see. Defense is very good. Lamar's clearly matured a little bit. He had the pick six, but Dobbins looked good on the ground. You have a lot to build on, and with the Steelers are done, in my opinion. So this division's wide open for the Ravens to take. I think they have a very good chance of taking it next year, but I'm looking forward to the Bills in the conference championship. Josh Allen, he's a young quarterback. He's great. He showed so much improvement this season, but can he win on the big stage? We're going to have to find out next week. Moving on to the Sunday games, and this is where the weekend starts to get good. The Browns against the Chiefs. This is going to be a blowout, right? No, the Browns prove us wrong again. The Browns were very good in this game. Baker was not. He didn't kill him, but he was not. He was not good by any stretch of the imagination. But this was a very good game, and I didn't expect it to be. Chiefs get out to a hot start. Mahomes looks unstoppable. They drove down the field with ease. But, Baker gets him down the field, gets him a field goal. He's still in the game. And then it turns to the defenses. The defenses really got to step it up. And they do. Stop. Field goal maybe. Who is it? Butker was not great for the Chiefs. I think he left him 4 points on the field. Can't do that. I didn't mention in the last game, but Tucker missed a field goal early. Can't do that. Field goals, you gotta hit your field goals. You gotta hit your PATs. I mean, it's absolutely critical. It's your job. You gotta get it done. I know there's a lot of wind, but still, it's got to be done. Chiefs offense, it's tough to stop. And then we get towards the end of the first half. The Browns have a chance to make it a one-possession game. And they pretty much do. Baker finds Rashad Higgins down the sideline, diving for the pylon, but then he fumbles it out of the side of the end zone. That's a touchback. You can't fumble it there, man. I know you're making a hero play. I know you're diving for the pylon, but you can't fumble it. You fumbled it, Rashad. Ugh. That's so tough to see. You have a touchdown. The ball's clearly across the plane, but you fumble it out of the side of the end zone. No. You can't do that. And I get it. There looked to be a helmet-to-helmet call that they missed. But that's a very tough play to call, especially on the goal line. I don't think you get that call too many times, especially if it's not called on the field. Obviously, you can't review it. I think that probably gets changed in the offseason. I think both rules get changed in the offseason, or definitely looked at, probably changed with the fumbles out of the side of the end zone and helmet-to-helmet not being reviewable. I think they both get covered in the offseason, addressed. I know they don't have Sean Payton crying about it this year, but maybe Stefanski can. But we all thought, wow, they missed this hit. That's going to cost the Browns this game. But then Mack Wilson makes arguably the dirtiest tackle I've seen all year. Vontaze Burfict's out of the league, but Mack Wilson's here now. He puts Mahomes in a chokehold, realistically. His arm is fully around Mahomes' neck, slams him to the ground. Mahomes is lost. He has absolutely no idea where he's at. He probably doesn't even know what day of the week it is, and he's playing football. He was lost. He was absolutely spaced out, clearly done with a concussion. I'm shocked Wilson didn't get at least penalized. He should have been ejected. That was a very, very dirty tackle. And we can all just hope Mahomes is healthy for the AFC Championship game because, let's face it, it's not going to be the same. As great as their backup quarterback is, it's not the same without Mahomes. But speaking of that backup quarterback, Chad Henne. I'm talking to the guys while I'm watching this game. I'm like, Chad Henne's in the game. It is Henne time. And Henne time it was not. I was wrong. They could not move the football with Henne at all. I think he played for just over a quarter, and they did not look good. The Browns are able to make it a close game again. It's one possession. Oh, Henne. You know, the Chiefs are obviously extremely limited in their playbook. They can't do much. Henne's not mobile. Excuse me. Henne's not mobile. And, you know, you can't run the same stuff with Mahomes does. You can't run your play action, your rollouts. You can't do any of that with Henne. He's just not that quarterback. And, you know, it's going to be a tough game. Then you get towards farther into the fourth quarter. I don't know where Henne's throwing the ball. He airmails, I think it was Kelsey. He airmails it by about 20 yards. Joseph's sitting there like a punt returner in the end zone, ready to get the pick and get the ball, Browns the ball back. I mean, you look up and you're like, wait a minute. The Browns could really win this football game. But then Baker happens. He had a big QB sneak on that 4th and 1. But then, the drive kind of stalls out, and you're like, what does Stefanski do here? Do we punt, or do we go for it? Go to win the game. This is going to be the last drive of the game, probably. And Stefanski punts. He believes in his defense. I'm watching the game, I'm like, okay, this is a good decision. You got Chad Henne in the game. What's Chad Henne going to do? He just threw you a pick for free. So they give him the ball back. And Chiefs don't really do much with it. They just don't. First couple plays, run. They might have mixed in a first down there. I'm not really sure. My memory's foggy. Up until 3rd and 14. 3rd and 14 is when I remember. I'm watching it with my dad. We're like, just run the halfback draw. Take an extra 40 seconds off the clock because you're guaranteed to punt it. You're guaranteed to keep the clock moving. Punt it. Browns have no timeouts. Make him go 80 yards in a minute. Chad Henne drops back. I think they're empty in this. I think they're empty. They might have motioned Williams into the backfield, but Henne's in the gun. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Why is Henne in the gun? And then the pocket collapses. No one's open downfield. Myles Garrett's been out most of the second half, but he's back. He's back in now. Pocket collapses. And I'm like, oh, Christ, Henne's going down. Now he's going to get sacked. Brilliant. This is the last thing the Chiefs want. And then a miracle happens. Chad Henne. That's right. We're talking about the same guy here. Chad Henne, career backup, evades a sack, takes off to the left, and gets on his horse and dives for a first down. I'm sitting there. I'm not sitting anymore. I am jumping up and down at the sight of Chad Henne, a 3rd and 14 scramble to send his team to the AFC Championship game, putting his body on the line, diving for that first down. It's Henne time, baby. But they mark him short. I'm like, you can't mark him short here. But then the replay shows up, and me, along with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, they see the elbow go down. We're like, oh, God, no. Henne time is over. No. He almost had it. And so we're like, you know what? It's okay. They almost got it. Now they can hard count. Now they can do a hard count, try to jump the Browns off sides, and maybe get a first down here because now they don't have to punt. You run the clock down to 0, timeout, punt. That's what you got to do. Try to draw them off and then timeout, punt. Very easy. Give the Browns 40 seconds and 80 yards to go with Baker. Not too bad. And then the Chiefs line up in empty. Chad Henne's the only guy back there. And we're like, okay, Chad, let's slow down a little bit. Then he motions Williams in the backfield. They're like, okay, this is a little bit better. Because you got to at least make it look like you're going to run a play here, right? So you gotta get a running back in there to tighten down the formation, make it look like Henne's about to run a quarterback sneak, so that the Browns at least think you're running a play. No one in the world thinks they're running a play here. The Browns know we're not jumping off sides. This is not going to be a play. We're just giving them a first down in the game. Can't jump off sides. And everyone on the Chiefs is like, we're not running a play. Everyone's standing up. Lineman standing up. Kelsey standing up. Everyone. And then Chad Henne snaps the ball. I'm thinking, what is going on? I like the call to go for it. You got to play risky, but on your own 40, it's a one-possession game. Henne snaps the ball in the gun, and then he sprints out to the right and he completes it for a first down. I'm like, what is even happening? I've seen a bunch of crazy stuff in football, but there's nothing crazier than Chad Henne scrambling on a 3rd and 14 for 13 yards and then running a sprint out on 4th and inches in your own territory to go to the AFC Championship game. I believe Schefter tweeted out Riverboat Reed. That's exactly what Andy was. Andy went for it. This is another reason why Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach next year. But enough about Bieniemy. This is Chad Henne we're talking about here. Chad Henne, not Mahomes with the huge scramble, the sprint out, Tyreek for the first. No. It's Chad Henne. I mean, he's a career backup. This is his first ever playoff game. He makes it count. So the Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship on the back of Chad Henne. I cannot stress this enough. Chad Henne is taking the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game against the red-hot Buffalo Bills. I hope Mahomes is back because I think it will be a better game, but I also don't because I want to see if Chad Henne can get it done. Regardless, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm so excited to watch it next week. I'm not sure if it's going to be Henne versus Allen or Mahomes versus Allen. But regardless, we are in for a treat next week in the AFC. Then we move on to the final game of divisional weekend. We got the rivalry, the Saints, the Bucks, the GOAT, the Breeze. I don't really know. But two of the all-time greatest quarterbacks, two of the best teams in the league, head-to-head showdown in the Superdome. This is what it's all about. And the Saints get firing early, 3 and out. Huge punt return. If only they don't block in the back there. Oh, man. That's a killer. Especially because you don't even get 7 out of the drive. You know, the Bucs defense, they get this early stop in the red zone. On the subsequent drive, they get another stop in the red zone. That's huge. To keep this offense out of the end zone twice in the red zone back-to-back, you could be down 14-0 right now. Instead, if you score, you take the lead. That's just incredible defense. And that's really the story of the game for the Bucs. The defense takes over. I mean, you're thinking, but they have Brady. No. Defense takes over this game for the Buccaneers. You know, the offense is great. Offense is not great, but good. Brady, obviously, he's been here before. He knows what he's doing. And then Leonard Fournette's solid. You know, Ronald Jones was their best running back today, but, you know, they're able to get chunk yardage on the ground. Brady makes a couple throws here and there. You know, you get a turnover, you get a touchdown. Bucs take the lead. But look at this. Bucs take the lead. Take the lead early. I think Brees throws a pick, and Brady finds Evans in the end zone. And then I have no idea what the hell the Buccaneers secondary is doing. You know, they make 2 great stops in the red zone. But then they're like, hey, I see Jameis Winston lined up at receiver. I see Kamara in the backfield. I wonder if something's up. No. So the play happens, and it's obvious that Jameis Winston's getting the football. It's clear as day. Not to the Buccaneers. Tre'Quan Smith is about 40 yards downfield. No one's even in the camera shot. He walks in for a touchdown. I'm like, what are you doing, Bucs? This is a Tom Brady-led team that just let that happen? Ugh, Todd Bowles, what are we doing? I'm pretty sure I'm watching this game and I'm screaming at my TV, Todd Bowles needs to be fired. What are you guys doing? Come on. What else is Jameis going to do than launch the ball downfield? I mean, yeah, he might pick it. He might get picked. Oh, Jameis throws a bunch of picks. But, like, something's up. I mean, the Bears ran that exact play last week against the Saints. Except this time the receiver caught it. Tough. But, yeah, Bucs take the lead back. Or, no, excuse me. Saints take the lead back. And I'm like, whoa. This is not what we're looking at here. We're looking at the same thing? I don't know. Bucs then drive. Bucs hit a couple field goals to end the half, and we're 13-13 at half. I'm like, wow, look at this game. Then I go in and I tell my dad, the Buccaneers' best shot in this game is to have Drew Brees go down the field and win it. That's the Bucs' best chance, is to be on defense and make Brees win this game. So they did. I believe the Saints score. I'm just trying to remember the chronological order of this game, but I think the Saints score soon, and they take the lead back. But then the Buccaneers score, and it's tied again. What's happening here? What in the world is going on? I have absolutely no idea where I'm at in this game right now. This is really bad. I apologize, guys. But yeah, the Buccaneers get... This one's the fumble. This one's the fumble from Cook that gets them back in the game. Yeah. This is the fumble from Cook. Gets them back in the game. The Saints just take the lead. Stop the Bucs. They're driving back down the field. Brady almost throws the pick. He's out of bounds. And then they're driving back down the field. You go up to by 2 scores. That's going to be tough to come back, even for Brady and the countless weapons he has on offense. But Antoine Winfield makes an incredible momentum-shifting play. Punches the ball out from Jared Cook, who, by the way, was abysmal in this game. He was terrible. We'll talk about him more a little bit later. But, Winfield makes a huge play. Bucs get the ball back. Ground and pound. Fournette, Rojo. Brady finds Fournette on the angle route. Touchdown. Tie game. We're back. I go back into my dad. I'm like, hey. Pause. I go back into the room where my dad's at, watching the game. I'm like, you got to make Brees win this game for you. What happens on the next drive? Pick. Brees can't find Kamara. Pick. And it's not looking good anymore, man. It's not looking good. Kamara expects it a little bit deeper. Brees throws it earlier. Devin White, player of this game. 100% player of this game. Picked it off. Bucs score again off the turnover. You're like, Drew, come on, man. This is your last game, Drew. You got to be better than this, dude. Come on. I'm a Brady fan. That's obvious. But even I'm like, Drew, come on, man. This is your last rodeo. Let's make it good. It's tough, man. I mean, it's obvious. His arm is gone. I think he attempts one pass past 20 yards the entire game. It sucks to see. His arm's gone. That suffocates the Saints offense. They can't run plays, man. You can't just dump it down to Kamara when you need 2 scores late in the game. It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch Drew, just not be able to perform at that level. Say what you want. Yeah, Brees always chokes in the playoffs. It's true. But he didn't get any help this game. The line was piss poor. Jared Cook had the fumble. He's going to not catch another one late in the game. That'll be Brees' 3rd pick and end the game. But as excited as I am to see Tom Brady win this game, go back to the conference championship with a different team, I'm so saddened that this was the way Brees is going to go out. And that Brees might be remembered for, a few 3 or 4 straight years in the playoffs, just not getting it done. It doesn't do justice to a great career for him to go out this poorly. And, I'm going to talk about Brees in a later video, but it's heartbreaking to see such a great quarterback go down really without a whimper. I mean, the Buccaneers defense took this game over late. They were able to just play man the entire time. Brees can't burn you deep anymore. Maybe back in his heyday, but not anymore. Brees can't burn you deep. Carlton Davis absolutely clamps Michael Thomas. He doesn't have a catch. That's right. Michael Thomas, who people used to think was the number 1 receiver in the league, since now they've come to their senses, he doesn't have a catch. I mean, this Buccaneers defense came to play. They game planned. They played man, like I said. Brees isn't going to beat you over the top. And, the rest is history. They get this game done. Moving on to Green Bay. But, it's tough to see Brees go out like this. I'm I'm 99.999% sure this was the last we'll ever see of Drew Brees in the NFL. And it stings a little bit. It really does. Because you have such a great quarterback just fail. I mean, that's really all it was. He just didn't have it anymore. Like I said, it wasn't his fault. Sometimes Cook was terrible. He gave him 2 of those turnovers. The other 2 picks were on Drew. But man, it's tough. It's tough to see a legend go out that way. But we got 2 legends next week. Let's end those weekly recap on a high note. We got 2 legends next week. We have the greatest quarterback ever and a guy who does State Farm commercials going at it head to head, mano y mano. Maybe the best offense in the league versus the best defense in the league, at least in the run department and definitely the pass department last week. This is the game we're all looking forward to. Rodgers versus Brady. The Packers are the clear favorite. But hey, the Saints were the favorite this week, and we see what happens. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to have my popcorn ready. We're going to be watching it. Obviously, I hope Tom wins. I'm a homer. Whatever. I hope Tom wins. I hate Rodgers. I could talk about that in another video. But I want to see Tom back in the Super Bowl. Tom versus Brady versus Mahomes. Like, come on. That sounds so good. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Weekly recap is always my favorite to record. Hope you guys enjoyed as well. We only got 2 more for the year. We only got 2 more weekly recaps after this one. But that's it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.